The threat level in England, Wales, and Scotland is substantial, meaning that a terrorist attack is likely. So, what will this Cobra meeting be considering in their discussions? Will they be escalating that threat?
Well, the final arbiters of that of the threat level is made actually by JTAC, the Joint Terrorism Analysis Centre, but of course it will be fed into by all the different operatives around the world, gaining intelligence as to whether or not there's any likelihood really of a group or an individual attacking within the UK. And to be quite honest, I'm quite surprised it hasn't gone up already. So I would expect to see it go up in the next few days.
So explain to me why you'd expect to see it go up. I mean, Met Police Commissioner Sir Mark Rowley has said there's been a 14-fold increase in anti-Semitism in London, and for Muslim communities, it's nearly threefold. But what's the relationship between hate crime and terror threats? Is there a direct relationship?
Well, there's certainly a link in as much as to be there are many extreme people that carry extreme views within the UK, and of course extreme views can move very quickly to extreme actions. Now the police and security services have to keep an eye on all those people. It's pretty much impossible, and as we've seen in the past, individuals can pop up out of nowhere really, and turn from having an extreme view to actually going and detonating a bomb or stabbing people. So the police will be looking at the information they're getting from their sources. The security services will have a list of people that they are watching, and that list will change on a daily basis. But of course, what we've seen in the past is an individual that comes out of nowhere and blindsides the security services and takes action. And of course, there are so many people for the police and security services to watch that one of those could easily pop up. And I think that's what they will be looking at most in most detail.
Indeed, and there does seem to be a big difference between that sort of lone wolf extremist conducting acts of terror and the sort of thing that's currently being deemed as extremist and possibly requiring new definition in order for counter-terror officers to do their jobs. I mean, people protesting because they feel strongly about the Palestinian cause, for example, seems to have uh, endured a sort of an escalation, if you will, in terms of how that rhetoric is perceived.
Yeah, and of course there are extremes, and many people, I should think a very large number of people across the UK would sympathise with the people of Gaza, but there are those that believe that war jihad is the right way to go forward, and we saw some of that over the weekend and previous weekends with individuals effectively stirring up the fact that they want to go into battle within the UK and across Europe and right through to extinguishing Israel. So there are extremes, and there are people within our country that are extreme, and of course those people can also egg on others who may never have thought of doing such a thing to go and commit offences. And the difficulty with this word jihad is an ideal example of why the police are in such difficulty with this, because it can mean struggle but within yourself right through to war. And of course, one is illegal and one isn't.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the thing. It feels like there's a difficulty with nuance at the moment, and you can't legislate necessarily for nuance in political debate. I mean, the Times reports that Community Secretary Michael Gove is expected to announce a new non-statutory definition of extremism by the end of the year. Well, that's a long time off, at least a couple of months. But what difference will it make? Will it help counter-terror officers do their job, or will it have more people protesting about the encroachment on their freedom of speech?
Well, it'll do both of those things, and you're right. It's where do you draw the line as what is acceptable and what isn't. And what we've seen over the weekend and previous weekends is right on the edge of whether it's legal or illegal. And I think what the police have tried to do is then review what's been said and how it's been said, and then decide to take action subsequently. Now that doesn't help their reputation when it's going on, because some people will see it as a failure to act. But of course, it is commonsensical that you don't arrest people in the middle of a large crowd for something that may never come to court because the CPS don't see it as an offence. So the police are in a terribly difficult position. and it's okay. You know, you can criticise from both sides, but they're trying to judge the line, and they've already said. Mark Rowley has already said that that line is not correct, and it needs to be clarified by government.